Hi everyone, welcome again to Yuhu Education, a part of Yuhu Post. In this video, I'm going to answer a question. What if I create my logo with ChatGPT? Now for that, we're going to also explain what is trademark and what is copyright. It's relevant. And we're also going to explain some of the issues that arise when it comes to the use of Gen AI, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. Of course, before we move forward, remember that this video is for informational purposes only. It is not legal advice. But if you want to get help or legal counsel for purposes of the protection of a logo, feel free to ask questions and we will do our best to answer those questions or guide you. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to share my screen and explain some concepts that are important for our discussion of this video. So what's important here? What is the problem with the use of AI, or what are the concerns? So there are mainly at least three concerns when it comes to the use of AI. And it's one, ownership challenges. Who is the owner of the output? What's there? Created by generative AI like Dale or image generators or Copilot and similar, right? So that's one of the problems. The second problem is sometimes differentiating what has been created by the person who uses the AI technology and what has been the addition, right, or the contribution of the AI platform. And this is also important for purposes of sometimes appropriating inputs and outputs. And finally, there is still uncertainty as to certain IP rights when it comes to creations that have been created, that have been put together with the help or solely with artificial intelligence. And there is still holes in the law regarding this. The different stakeholders are still speaking about this, discussing, having conferences and different panels to figure out what's the right answer. If there is a right answer, who is the owner of whatever is created by artificial intelligence. So those are like the issues that we have, right? Now, going back to this idea of what if I create my logo with AI? So first I want to explain something. In the world of IP, we have at least two big groups, the world of copyright and the world of trademarks. And why is this important? So copyright protects creations that are artistic. Copyright exists to protect the rights of creators, of authors, so that they are properly compensated for their work. And it's also the purpose of copyright to develop arts and sciences. So if you think about some visual art, some digital creation, which has many different creative elements, that's probably going to be protected under copyright. Now, that same digital design or drawing, you might use it as a trademark. And then we jump into the trademark world. And trademark exists for two reasons. One, to protect logos and signs and source identifiers, these symbols that are used in the marketplace to differentiate products or services. That means that if I'm going to buy a phone, the trademark, the brand, is going to tell me different things about that product or that device. Features, quality, reliability, among others. So in the world of trademarks, we are protecting symbols that are used in commerce to differentiate products and services. And why I make so much emphasis in use, because you may have a symbol that's not pretty unique, that has not many original elements, but if it's used consistently in the marketplace, and consumers have a secondary meaning for that symbol. It's not anymore just a yellow circle. It's not anymore some check, right? It's now the image of a company. It's now the logo of Nike. If that symbol has a meaning in the marketplace, it doesn't matter if it's not original. It will be protected under trademark law. However, when it comes to copyright, we're looking for a certain degree of originality because we are protecting the rights of authors, of creative works. And why is this important? When you think about a logo, you want something that is unique, that can represent your brand. Sometimes, maybe if you are an artist, you're a content creator, that visual art, which it's going to be probably protected under copyright, might be your logo, right? But if you are only thinking about your brand in commercial sense, you may have a good brand trademark that's not pretty original. Now, that's the context. Now let's go back to what if I create my logo with AI. So if you ask AI to create a logo, we're going to do an exercise and they come up with different options. You may find yourself that some options might be very artistic, right? And some options may be just very simple, not many elements. What's there for you to consider? First, that any platform that you use that it's using generative AI has terms and conditions. That's the contract between you and the website developer, the website party that's putting for your service that AI generative tool, right? And usually what these services say is that you are the owner of the input, whatever you put there, it's yours. And sometimes they also say that you are also the owner of the output, whatever is created by the AI, because it's random. They don't really know what's going to come up. It will really depend on you. They also say that it is always within the boundaries of the law. The issue is that sometimes artificial intelligence uses pre-existing works. So if the logo or this symbol for your brand that you really like has many creative elements, it's almost like a piece of art. That might be a work that could be infringing the rights of the original creator, of an artist whose work maybe was used to train the AI. But if it's something that is not very unique, that has just a few elements, you're in a situation when you have a symbol that you might use as a trademark. Now, let's do some exercise to see what happens when we actually ask ChatGPT to come up with a logo. And I'm going to open here ChatGPT to do the exercise and to show you a couple of things that are important, right? So, of course, the input is always going to be relevant for you. You want a brand or a logo that is unique, that identifies your product, your brand, what you're thinking. So let's say here, create, I was going to ask something. Create a unique logo for my perfume brand.
Hi, this is Giselle Ayala from YoohooPost.com. If you like this video, don't forget to follow, to give us your support, and to click the notifications button so you can get new videos information. Additionally, don't forget to go to YoohooPost.com if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship, art, and other interesting topics.
So I get these options, let's say for a perfume brand. Now I have to look what I like, of course, and then I will choose the one that I like. However, this is just part of the process. Remember that, like in this case, we have images that have different creative elements, and we need to figure out if that's something we can use for purposes of our brand, if we can use it as a logo or a trademark. And how purpose is very important to remember that we need to go through the clearance process. We need to really evaluate if that logo will work or if there's anyone using something highly similar, substantially similar. And that's relevant for purposes of trademark law. So when you think about what if I create my logo with AI, you have different considerations. One, that there are ownership rights that are not pretty clear, that the AI platform is telling me that I am the owner of whatever I get with the generative AI, but that's not enough. If that logo has many different creative elements, you should try to do some research, maybe probably use Google to help you look for similar images to make sure that logo is not substantially similar to other art. Maybe the art of an artist was used to train the AI model, right? So that's very important because you may face some copyright issues. But let's say you get some Google help and you don't only find an artist that has created something similar to that. The second part is that trademarks are unique or they are something that becomes a brand with time, and that will depend on different factors. So the fact that you create a logo with AI is just a small part of the equation. We want to first be clear that there is no clarity about the rights, but second, that trademarks must be used in commerce and in many jurisdictions, depending where you are located. If you are in the United States, you need use in commerce, but if you are outside the United States, you also need registration to get those trademark rights. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to also show you some two logos specifically, right? So we have here two logos of very important brands, but I want to make a point, right? These were not created by AI. And these are not pretty original. I mean, if you put any of these two drawings in a piece of paper, they don't really look like something super original. It's just an M in yellow, and the other one is just a target, right? It's just a red circle inside a white circle inside a red circle. So there's nothing pretty original about it. But what makes these two important trademarks, important brand, it's they used in commerce. It's how they have developed those symbols as part of their marketing strategy. So now, what initially was just an M in yellow or two arcs or a red circle inside a white circle inside a red circle becomes a recognized brand of retail. But how do we do that? Did that because there's been investment in advertising, in marketing. So that's how you get a good brand to be recognized. It's a process. It's not a short-term process. You will have to give time for that brand trademark to be known in the market. But when it comes to this question of what if I create this logo with AI? Well, that's just the initial step that you took to have a protectable trademark. You still need to do some research to figure out if that is something artistic that might be substantially similar to the art of a author, and you might encounter some copyright issues. And second, you still have to do some research to figure out if that logo, even if it was created by AI, is substantially similar to other logos or brands already in use and already registered and protected. Because if that logo happens to be similar to a pre-existing logo, then you cannot appropriate that logo, at least to represent the same products and services. So let's say there's another company that has the same logo for perfumes. I will have to change my logo. But if I'm looking for these different business ideas and I really like that logo to sell, to promote my coaching service, right? And part of that is like, I'm going to tell people about their attitude, the importance of having good perfume, and other different aspects of sales. And that's what I'm going to do, a service of coaching. And I really like that logo. Maybe I can protect that logo for purposes of that service, but not for purposes of perfumes, because in this example that we have, I already discovered that the same or a substantially similar logo is being used for perfumes. So I know it's not a pretty straightforward answer, but I want you to think about this. First, AI it's using pre-existing materials, therefore maybe copyright issues and trademark issues when it comes to using AI to create a logo. Two, a logo it's strong and will develop a significance in the market with time. So creating the logo with AI is just the first step. You still need to do clearance search and you still need to invest in marketing to really make that logo a recognized brand. And three, remember that the official position of the United States is that in terms of copyright and ownership, if you don't have human involvement in the process of creating that logo or in the process of creating an original work, an original visual art, you don't have copyright protected interest. I hope this helps you when you start working on your logo and your brand. Remember that AI should only be a tool. It's great for ideation, but the final result for a brand or an artistic work has to reflect what it's in you, what's your brand about. It's not only a logo. A logo alone without context is not going to be recognized. But that logo, together with your advertising and your message, that will make a strong brand.